Hi, we're
Jamie,
and Ella.
and we are the Slow Travel Bug.
Actually, I think it's that we've caught the slow travel bug.
Okay, we caught the slow travel bug.
We're
Slow travel bug.
gonna travel slowly, and this is our journey to retirement. Jamie is still working, and I'm at home decluttering and downsizing and getting us prepared for the slow travel journey.
I turned 60 this year, and it was like a light bulb went off, an epiphany. I woke up and realized, wow, I turned 60. I need to do something with my life. I work in a very high stress environment, high stress job. I'm a technical support manager by trade. And I thought I was going to be working until I die, basically. But after looking at a bunch of things and rethinking our life at 60, we decided to make a change.
I definitely wanted him to be able to feel what it feels like to not be controlled by a clock or any kind of thing like a boss. I personally have been allowed to beat by my own drum for years. I was a stay-at-home mom and I homeschooled the children and I took care of everything, kind of the executive manager for the house. Then I was a music manager for an artist, and I got into affiliate marketing and did all sorts of things with affiliate marketing with TikTok and Amazon and also UGC, which is user generated videos, kind of like this.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is our journey. Anyway,
Actually, this is just about our life. We just decided to slow travel the world, and we have to do some preparation to get ready for that. I have to get my finances in order. We have to, get the job in order, all of our things in order. So we're going to go through a bunch of different things to get ready for our launch. We're hoping that we can launch sometime in April, but I think life is going to happen, and we'll see how that goes. But that's our target for now. April is our target to get traveling.
And it might actually bleed all the way into July. For me, in my mind, I've kind of put a deadline of by July, we should be launched, because then he will be 61. A little bit about what we have done so far and why we've chosen slow travel. Over the years, while he's been working, we have slowly progressed to doing 2-week vacations, because companies give you this unlimited travel or not unlimited travel, but unlimited vacation, right?
Yeah, my company gives unlimited vacation, although it's not really unlimited.
I mean, you kind of feel pressured.
I think what it really means is the company doesn't want to put your vacation on the books, so they don't have to pay you back or anything like that. So your vacation doesn't accrue. But in any case, the guideline for as much time as I've been working at this company, I have 4 weeks that I can take vacation a year. So we used to take vacation once a quarter, 1 week a quarter. And I realized that 1 week just wasn't enough. Like, we would land somewhere and we would feel like, oh, wow, we're on vacation. But I was still in my job mode, still thinking about work. And it wasn't until the end of the week that I was finally relaxed. And then, bam, I have to go back to work. Then we realized, well, 1 week is too short. So we'll take 2 weeks. We started taking 2 weeks. That made vacations twice a year. But that was so much better to take vacation twice a year for 2 weeks, because after the first week, we finally got to unwind and just have fun and relax. Like, we would knock out all the excursions on our fast vacation, and then we could just sit by the pool or just lounge around and have a spa day, something like that.
Explore the town a little bit better.
Explore the town.
Because before it was excursion after excursion after excursion, and wake up every day and try to jam pack as much as we could into the 7 days that we were at whatever place. And then stretching it for 2 weeks, it was like, oh, we could do a couple things this week and a couple things the next week, and really found our groove with vacationing. So in retirement, we definitely want to travel the world, but we don't want to be rushed, right?
We don't want to be rushed. And we're not really rich, so we need to also manage our budget. And we figured that slow travel would be a perfect option, because traveling someplace for a little bit of a longer term less flights, less hectic behavior. We're going to have more fun just chilling.
Right.
So we're planning on going to places probably at least a month, but as long as our visa will allow us to be in that particular place. So a lot of places we found have a 30 to 60 day visa. Some of them you can extend it a little bit. So we're probably going to do about 30 to 60 days in most places, unless we really like a place, and then we'll see about extending it.
Right. So we want to explore as many countries as we can. We're going to go definitely Southeast Asia and Europe and
South
then
America,
a
Latin
few
America,
cruises here
Central
and there.
America.
We'll be splashing everything in.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get all these grandiose ideas of everything, we really need to wrap things up at home. So part of our journey of wrapping things up at home has been us going and talking to our financial planner. You know, if you don't have one, you can easily set up like a meeting with someone from Edward Jones or something and tell them that you want to do something and here's your plan, and you lay it all out in front of them. When I first came up with this idea of slow travel with my financial planner, it was kind of an interesting discussion because I sent him a letter saying, hey, I've got this much money in our 401k and this much money in our home equity, and we want to go slow traveling. And he replied with, well, I don't really understand what you mean or what your budget is or what you're talking about. A lot of people don't understand that slow travel is basically going from country to country and staying as long as the visa will let you, or staying longer periods than the vacations. I had to explain that to him, and I used a little bit of ChatGPT to articulate my questions better for him.
Right.
And I came up with a letter and I sent that off to him. And next thing you know, we set up an appointment and we went over all of our financial options together.
Yeah, and he was actually pretty excited for us. He's like, wow, that's a great idea.
And we aren't millionaires. We don't have a huge sum of money. And he said, you know what? I see that you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's what I call, or what is called in the industry, a fiduciary party. So he has an obligation to be sure that he's making choices with your investments and your plans that benefit you. And, you know, he isn't on a commission or anything like that. That was really good to get that reassurance, confirmation that, yeah, we are on the right track. We're thinking sanely, and that this is just not something so out there, and that we're not going to burn the bridge. Because, fun fact, we've actually tried to retire early before.
Oh, yeah. In our 30s?
In our 30s with 3 kids. And we also went abroad. Anyway, that's a whole nother video.
We'll tell you about that story some other time.
About the bumper boat arcade. But yeah, so we have experience with living abroad and attempting to retire early. So this time, we wanted to make sure that we were locked in step with a financial planner who wasn't going to let us make any huge errors and things like that. The second part of preparing to slow travel, in my opinion, is to put everything into a spreadsheet, right? We went through the gruesome task, and it was more my task than his because I do all the finances and things like that of, you know, how much do we spend on the credit cards? How much do we spend on gas, power, electricity, running the house? And then I made a spreadsheet where I documented every single little thing and all the credit cards that I charge to. And I always pay off my credit cards all the way. And hopefully, if you're going to start this journey, you do that too.
I definitely would not start this lifestyle with debt.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you want to be debt-free first.
What we did is we went ahead and documented everything on the spreadsheet, and we made different scenarios. We had a scenario where we keep the house. We had a scenario where we sell the house. We had a scenario of keeping the house and renting it to furnished finder people like travel nurses
or Airbnb
and things like that. With these 3 different scenarios, we could look at it and see how much we as a couple can tolerate Then there's also this little wild card right now that we're not sure which way the market is going with housing. We live in California and it's the holidays, so the market's kind of sluggish right now and things are changing. We don't know if
And California is expensive to live in,
very,
tax-wise.
very, in retirement, we also want to establish a residency in another state because then they won't tax our Social Security when we get that. So there's that component of what we need to get ready. So there's, just deciding if you're going to retire, then you need to make a conversation with your financial planner as to what your desired goal and budget would be to travel abroad. Then making the spreadsheets of your expenses and what you have. Basically, once you have the knowledge of how much money is flowing in and out of your accounts, it's a lot easier to make some of these hard decisions. So
Yeah, one of the decisions that we made was we sold our car.
yes. Oh my gosh.
I actually bought my wife a really nice car. And during this planning, in this time frame, we haven't been driving around very much. We got used, after COVID, having deliveries for most things. And when we would go places, we would take the car, of course, except that it was only when we were going places.
Right.
So the car would sit in the garage. And there was a couple of times where the battery kind of died out on it. So we'd have to recharge the battery. And then we got to thinking, well, the car's sitting in the garage for most of the year. We only take it out every once in a while, but we're paying for this beautiful car. We just,
right.
Doesn't make sense.
I can definitely say he bought me a Mercedes, but 1 year into owning that car, which was my dream car, I looked at him, and this was right after meeting with the financial planner, and I said, this car has got to go. And so we hopped in it the next day, right? It was the next day.
I think it was the next day.
It was the next day after talking to the financial planner, and I drove right up to Mercedes. I'm like, look at this beautiful car.
Well, we called them first.
Yeah, we called them
said,
first.
hey, will you take the car back?
Yes.
And luckily we hadn't put a lot of miles on it because it was sitting in the garage
Right.
most of the time.
It was the dream
They
car.
were more than happy to take it back.
They did take it back, and we ended up getting also back the warranty and the maintenance warranty. I ended up actually in the positive after returning the car and getting checks back from Mercedes. So that was really nice. Now, everybody's situation's different. Maybe your car is paid in cash. Maybe your dealer won't take it back. Everybody's situation's different, just like the financial planning thing. Yeah. Everybody, it's unique to you.
The way I look at it is, and the way we kind of discussed with the dealer, it was like we had the car for at least for a year.
Yeah, it was kind of like having a lease.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was really nice. So, yeah, there were some.
But by giving it up, we got rid of a car payment. We got rid of the car insurance.
Yes.
Of course, any of the gas or maintenance that we had to pay, keeping it going.
I get notices from like Big O tires and coupons and things, and I look at it and I go, I don't have to buy tires.
I don't have to change the oil.
Right. Don't have to worry
although
about
we would
the
do that at
battery.
Mercedes, but
right. So getting rid of the car was definitely the first step towards our retirement journey. And I have to say and that was in September, and now we're in December. We're fine with it. If I need a car, I can definitely rent a car for the day to make a long journey.
Or Uber around.
Or Uber around. And it's been absolutely fine, and it is so much more economical than paying a car
and all
payment.
that savings, we're diverting it into our savings and investments and things.
Right. That's another portion of how we started to slow travel.
The next thing we were doing was taking care of our home things. So, over the years, we have collected a bunch of things, and we decided, well, we're going to clean it up. We're going to get rid of it, some of it. So we started selling some things, giving away things.
Yes.
Then we found out about the Swedish death cleaning method. So we did a little bit of that. We still have a ways to go.
We have a long way to go, actually.
I don't think we have that long.
Well, it's kind of hard because we want to sell the house. So in order to get it sale ready, you have to have all your personal items stashed away and things like that. And my daughter is actually coming to town to help me with doing a little bit of this next week. And I'm really excited to get the help because I kind of got stuck. It's really emotional going through your things and downsizing and letting go. Every time I've moved before, I've always had another house to put some of the stuff, especially
Right.
the most
We moved from one house to the other. This
right
time we're
most
just
cherished things. And
leaving.
I've completely decluttered a home before in order to put it on Airbnb and also to rent it to travel nurses. So I'm very familiar with decluttering. So if you follow us and subscribe and stuff, you can watch as we declutter this home as well. I'll be going over some of the tactics and things that I'm doing. But I'm not going to lie, I started sometime in August. It was, Jamie's birthday happened and it was like,
Bing.
bing, a light bulb went off and we're like, no, we've got to do this. So it's already been 6 months or more that I've been trying to declutter, and it's absolutely whooping me.
Well, she also had a huge collection of samples from TikTok Shop and Amazon and other affiliate marketing
Right.
things. So we went on a spree of giving things away and selling things away.
Right.
Plus, we had also accumulated a bunch of things during COVID, like things for our pantry. That I don't know why we did all that, but
I was ready for anything to happen.
She was prepping, I think, or something.
I have a prepper's pantry, so I have like all this food, and
we can open up a pasta restaurant or something.
Yeah, I've enough food. I'm going to be donating it and giving it away, but I have to make sure it's not expired and stuff like that. And it's still hard when you come from a mentality of being prepared and being sure that you have everything. It's really difficult to let go, especially for me.
Luckily, our son, who lives nearby, is more than happy to take a lot of our things.
Right. That was another thing we needed to do. Is we have 3 children. One lives far away and he's independent and stuff. And my youngest son was living with us. My daughter lives far away too. But because my youngest son was living with us, we needed to tell him that he had to move on. And that was really difficult for us because
until recently, we hadn't really thought about that.
We kept thinking we'll
live here forever.
Yeah, and this is okay. And he's in his mid-20s and he has a job and he's working and he's happy. So we needed to look at him and say, I'm sorry, but we're going to pull the rug from you and move. And he took it like a champ. He's so sweet. And he was like, okay.
I think he likes his independence now.
Yeah.
He lives just down the street.
Right. So we live in these neighborhoods that have in-law suites in the houses, which is really cool. So even in this house that I'm still living in, I still have somebody renting my in-law suite. So anyway, I looked for another house with an in-law suite that we could have him rent, and we found it. It was his exact floor plan that he loves, and he applied for it and he got in. And so that also helped us offload some of our things. So we took the couch over there. I miss my couch a lot.
Some of the furniture. He's got some drawers and we set him up pretty good because we're getting rid of everything.
Right. So every day after work, he kind of stops by our house and I have a box of things for him to stick in this tiny little apartment of his. And I'm like, here, son.
I don't know how he's fitting it all in there, but he is.
Here's my 10 cases of hand soap. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so
anyway, we have to declutter the home. So when my daughter comes, we're going to continue with this Swedish death cleaning. She's going to look at some of the things that we were thinking were heirlooms.
Right.
And decide whether she wants to keep them or not.
Right. Because, some of this stuff is just, to us, it has so much sentimental value. But to the children, they look at it and go,
I'll take a picture of it, Mom.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you can do that. You can take a picture of it as a memory and write a little story about it.
Right.
And that's all you really need is the memory. You don't have to have the physical item.
Right.
In your hand.
I kind of did get in trouble because I threw away a yearbook. I was just like,
oh man, she got in trouble for that one. She threw away her high school yearbook, and daughter was like, Mom, I wanted to see what you looked like when you were in high school.
And, and
I wanted to read all the notes from all the boys that wrote you notes.
So I got in trouble for that. So I sort of backed off on my aggressive cleaning and stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're getting there. I think by April we'll definitely be
Right.
ready.
We're hoping to get the house on the market in the next, I don't know, month.
Next month or so.
The next month or so, which means January 2025. So,
but you never know. I mean, the 2026 is supposedly going to have a market crash or a housing crash.
I said 2025. I meant 2026.
Yeah. We don't know what life has got ahead for us as far as that kind of thing goes. We definitely going to need the money from the home to finance our travel.
Yeah. I mean, we could keep the house, but to me, we have a pool and I'm worried about liability and
well, the upkeep of the home, just running the house, electricity, water, gas, the pool, the gardener.
Right. So,
the bug killer guy.
Right. Because if I was to keep the house, if I were to keep the house, I would want to have it as a furnished finder thing where travel nurses and other people could come and my furniture could stay. That way, if I come back, everything would be here.
Yeah, short-term rentals with a furnished home is definitely a good option versus a long-term rental.
Right. And with short-term rentals,
if you're thinking about selling your home,
or Airbnbs with all your furnishings included, you actually earn more money. And we looked at our house, and since it's both a house and an in-law setup, that's two sources of income we could be generating. But then we needed to look at what is our pain tolerance for actually running it. Just the other day, one of my renters lost their key and was texting me at 11 p.m. I lost my key. Thankfully, I was in bed and I could just walk over and say, here's an extra key. But when we're going to be on the other side of the world, that's going to be a little bit of a trickier option.
You'll need a property manager.
Yeah, a property manager is going to need to be there.
And they take a cut.
Or if you have a family member, and we considered having our son do it, but
it inconveniences him.
It's super inconvenient, and he travels for work too, so that wouldn't really work out. So for us, we're going to enter the market to sell our house, and we'll take you along that journey. So once again, subscribe if you want to hear how it goes.
And wish us luck. Hopefully the market will get a little better and we can actually leave with our target amount.
Right. So yeah, we figured in our situation that, we would have to spend all of our 401k in order to do it before we actually can draw from Social Security. And we're just not comfortable completely depleting our 401k. We would rather tap into what equity we've gained in the house and just be absolutely footloose and fancy free.
Mm-hmm. She was really aggressive about paying off the house because we actually thought I would, work until I die basically and retire very old, if retire at all.
Right. We thought retiring in place in our house was the way to go. So I nearly paid off the house. And then I realized that, gosh, property taxes and inflation and all of that just is going to whoop us. And it just keeps coming and getting more and more expensive to run things and to keep everything going. And I thought to myself, well, if he actually were to retire and we stay in place, first of all, that's not going to scratch our travel bug itch.
We love to travel.
And, just staying in place no longer seems like the right thing. And let's say we slow travel for a few years. After that, if we've able to sell the house, we can return still and buy something in a lower cost area, not California.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So,
but there's a lot of beautiful places in the country too.
Oh yes. So that's what our mindset was, is that we don't have to retire here. And the beauty of slow travel means that you're, exploring the world on your own timeline. You're not a tourist. I mean, you are a tourist, but you're also vacationing.
Yeah, you're living there.
You're living there. You're,
traveling slowly, exploring the places that you may consider as your final place.
right. So with that,
Or your base. It
or
could
our
be your
base,
base.
I might explore getting my citizenship through Poland because my family was from Poland. My husband's family was from Mexico. We could explore Mexican citizenship, or maybe we'll move to a whole new country like Thailand, and get a retirement visa with Thailand. The world is truly open. There are so many beautiful places to go to and to choose to live from.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, we've always had a saying,
if you don't go,
you won't know. So that's what we're going to do. This will be the third time in our life that we've made this huge decision. The first time was when my daughter was only 6 weeks old and we moved across the country from California to Massachusetts. And that didn't work out. But we had this idea in our mind of, if you don't go, you won't know. And that has been our motto for years and years.
Yeah. Life is
so
an adventure.
It is an adventure.
The world is your oyster, all these cliches.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to traveling around the world and experiencing different places, living in different places, and meeting the locals and feeling what their culture is like, living with them, and just having a good old time.
Right.
An affordable good old time.
Right. So if you're interested in this journey, I invite you to follow along. I'll be posting videos every week. I'm going to try my best to do 2 videos a week.
Yeah, we'll expand on some of the topics of the things that we did to start planning.
Right.
So we'll try to make some videos about those things individually.
I may share with you my spreadsheets of how I was able to track our expenses and our income and where everything is going. That helped us a lot. And what other things? Points, travel, credit card points. We have been applying for various credit card points, getting the bonus. What do you call it?
The points, so we can do mileage or hotel stays.
Right. So that's going to play a big part into the retirement also. And if you're thinking about doing this, the time to start planning your retirement credit cards and stuff like that is before you've retired. And that way you can build up as much points in your points bank as possible. And like I said, we'll go over that separately as well.
Yeah. And by the way, if you are in our age group or even younger than us, I would definitely encourage you to look into this because you have life to live. Your job should not be your life.
Right. And
you should be able to live life to your best ability.
Right.
And if you're young enough, you can plan for it better. So if you're very young, definitely I encourage you to look into planning for the future. Your retirement doesn't have to be at 62 or 65 or 67 or 70 or whatever the Social Security timeframes are. If you can work it out, you can retire so much sooner and live a much better life without having to worry about work and the stress that goes with that.
So if you're blessed to be seeing this video before you retire, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you because this is a time to prepare. I had no idea how much time this would all take, from decluttering the house to setting up the different travel reward cards that we have and getting together your last will and testament and putting together a trust. There's so many things that go into preparing to launch to travel abroad that I think should be shared.
Yeah, estate planning, financial planning, preparation with the credit cards to get the points.
Right. And
visas. We haven't even delved into the visas yet, but you have to get visas to some places ahead of time before you go there.
So this all probably sounds super overwhelming, but I promise you, as we go along, we'll focus down onto different parts of this retirement abroad and help you come to your decisions of what works for you. And we're excited. So thank you.
This is the first of many videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy coming along with us as we travel around and do our thing. And if you have anything that you want to share, we will definitely read the comments and give you feedback as well, or just talk about whatever you're thinking about in this area.
Definitely. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section down below. I will read it. He will read it. We'll discuss it. And we will either answer you with a video or we'll answer you in the comment section. We're excited to connect with you and go along this journey together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.